Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another adventure of MindMoversPodcast. I'm Steven. You can find me on Twitter at youth_thinking, and I'm joined with my good friend, partner, comrade. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the fans.
What's up, guys? This is Brando. You can find me on Twitter at mind_of_peace. Hope you're excited for today's adventure. We're going to dive deep into crystals and their healing potential and all their wonders.
Dropping some crystal knowledge.
Yeah, we're going to be talking with two experts from healingcrystals.com who are crystal experts.
So they're double experts, right?
They're pretty from my knowledge of what they do. They're expert crystals.
Nice. It's much better that we brought on experts rather than us trying to talk about crystals, because I don't know a whole lot. I'm sure they're
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about them either. I know that they look pretty and that they may or may not have some healing potential. But other than that, I don't know much.
Yeah. So it should be a lot of knowledge. I'm going to be learning the whole time along with the listeners.
I'll be learning too.
So we've got some great questions lined up. And let's start off with Herb of the Week.
All right. Herb of the Week is lavender. The beautiful violet flowers blooming for all to see under the bright sun on a perfect day. The bumblebees are buzzing as they collect the nectar from the flowers. The scent of the flowers soothe the mind and calm the nerves as the wind drifts the lavender fragrance towards you. Lavender is part of the Labatai family. I think I pronounced it wrong, maybe right. The parts used are the flowers. The energy is cool and the flavors are spicy, fragrant, and mildly bitter. Systems affected are the lungs and liver. Biochemical constituents are volatile oil and flavonoids. Volatile oil is another word for essential oils, which are aromatic compounds derived by distilling plant materials such as leaves, bark, flowers, etc. These oils are used in soaps, perfumes, food, incense, and more. Properties are aromatic, carminative, antispasmodic, and antidepressant. You can take it as a standard tea infusion or make a tincture. Lavender can be used as an insect repellent, and it works especially well against fleas and moths. The cooling and nervine properties of this plant are what makes it a good antidepressant by calming the nerves.
I know that box elderbugs are a huge pest for a lot of people, and it's not fun to kill them all the time. Don't want to do that. So if you put a little bit of lavender oil in a bottle of water in a spray bottle, and you spray it around your room, it actually helps keep them away. If you spray it around them when they're hanging out, they don't like freak out or anything, but I don't think they like the smell, so they try to stay away from it. So if you spray that around your room every once in a while, definitely helps with that. I've tested that. Don't have to.
What insect is that?
Box elders?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but they like invade box elder trees.
Oh.
And so they're kind of a pest. They like to sunbathe on houses. So
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. A pillow with lavender flowers and seeds can relax you at night and help you fall asleep. Lavender has been used for over 2,500 years. The Egyptians, among others, used it for mummification and perfume. Lavender is visited more frequently by bumblebees than honeybees because the bumblebees have longer tongues to reach the nectar in the flowers. Lavender honey not only tastes good, but it can be used to treat uninfected wounds very effectively. Lavender grow easy in dry, sandy, and sunny soil and require no fertilizer to grow to their full potential. Tasmania is an island south of Australia and home to one of the largest and most magnificent lavender farms in the world. I was looking at pictures online, and these columns of lavender plants just go on for like miles and miles, and they just follow the landscape of the land. It's truly beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be pretty nice to look at.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. So go check that out on Google or something. Some earth porn. Also, before diving into lavender or any other herb, be sure to look up any side effects or warnings some herbs may have, especially if you're pregnant, because some herbs, if taken too often, or especially things that are extracted from the herbs, can have negative effects if they're overused. So just be safe.
Awesome. That concludes Herb of the Week, right?
Yeah, man.
Another
That's a good
powerful
one.
herb. And I'll probably go into the technical stuff real quick. We're on iTunes. Just search for Mind Movers Podcast. If you're using an iPhone, you're going to have to download the podcast app, and then you can search for us in there. Make sure you subscribe to get the latest episodes, and we always encourage ratings and reviews. Those help us out a lot. We're also on SoundCloud, but we only post the most recent podcasts on there, so you won't be able to find them all if you're a new listener. I think that's about it. We're trying to get it on YouTube as well. And if you're interested in the books that we mentioned, we do tweet those out. And hopefully we will have a podcast app along with a website. Those are coming soon.
Very soon.
So excited about that. That's enough for the technical stuff. Don't have ads or sponsorships in the beginning, so that's our ad.
All right.
So what book are
you
you
been
reading?
reading?
Sinking. We sink all the time, bro.
Yeah, man.
You want me to go first then?
Yeah, go ahead. What you got? What
Right
you been
now,
reading?
I'm reading The Power of Now. Boom. And it kind of, I gave it away for $6K or something like that. Did a little contest, and I accidentally bought it, and it sent it to my house. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna cancel this because I want to read it. So I just left it, and then bought another one to send to the person that won. So I finally got that and started reading it. And so far, it's a book that keeps my attention, which is a really good sign. There's only been a few books that I've finished front to back quickly. So this is one of them. Very good book. Eckhart Tolle does a great job of explaining things without using large, complex terms. So it's very simple to understand. And he puts it, he's taking something that's very complex and hard to explain and making it simple. And I guess I saw a lot of people, if you ask people on Twitter that were around our little community or whatever that we have going on, little hippie community, that book's recommended a lot. So I had to check it out, and I definitely recommend others check it out as well.
That's awesome, man. I like that. He or she, he or she,
He, Eckhart,
he, right? Yeah. He keeps it simple, which really makes it a lot easier for people who don't understand some of those bigger, complex terms.
It's very difficult to do that also. It means
Yeah.
you're pretty smart in that area if you can make things like that simple. Definitely helps. Easy read. And he has it set up where it's like he'll ask questions that you might have and then explains an answer to that question. So he has chunks.
Nice. I like that. It's a good setup.
Yeah, it's a really good book. So what about yourself?
I've been reading John Muir, Magnificent Tramp by Rod Miller. The book is about the extraordinary life of John Muir during the late 19th century and early 20th. He was an engineer, geologist, botanist, writer, explorer, naturalist, and an activist for the preservation of nature. So the guy was just all around Renaissance man. He engineered clocks with alarms from scratch and engineered advanced equipment in sawmills and other factories. He discovered Glacier Bay and many other parts of Alaska. He operated many farms and wrote many books and articles. He took President Theodore Roosevelt on a camping trip deep in Yosemite Valley. And after the trip, Roosevelt said, "It was like lying in a great solemn cathedral, far vaster and more beautiful than any built by the hand of man."
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so the beauty of the landscape at Yosemite and the way John Muir spoke of it is really what led Roosevelt to preserve over 230 million acres of public land. And that includes like Sequoia, Yosemite, and all kinds of other places. I think that includes Olympic National Park too. And
Wow, what a powerful message right in there.
yeah,
Like, let me show you how beautiful this is. Let me immerse you in this beautiful place. Instead of being that person that protests on the street, like, don't destroy this land. Don't. It's like this guy became an expert in this area and showed someone like the
yeah, let me
beauty
just
of it.
show you.
Yeah, and that's way more powerful at getting the message across. So that's pretty cool that you mentioned that.
Yeah, and the cool thing is in the book, a lot of times he grew up, his father was like a hardcore Christian, I would say. I think even he was for the New Testament. And John Muir, I don't know if he was so much believed everything, but if he believed any of it, he was more of an Old Testament kind of person. So he was always getting punished as a kid. And there was even a time where someone named Graham, the guy who invented the graham cracker, came along.
Wow,
And like apparently the graham cracker was designed for like some special Christian diet that Graham came up with. And he
that's
was like,
weird.
and he somehow
Mind
convinced
moved.
Muir's dad to like go with it. So they were like just starving themselves for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
But his tales of exploration are what inspire me the most. He speaks of moments where he would scale the cliffs alongside Yosemite Falls, which is 1,400 feet. And he would find a spot on the cliff to sit and just watch the flowing water and observe the beauty of Earth for endless hours. He had no fear of falling. He trusted Mother Earth. It's the most incredible thing. He said that like even though there was a time where he was climbing a mountain and he's scaling this cliff and his like arms and legs are sprawled out at these like footholds and he's got nowhere to go. He can't go left, he can't go up, he can't go down, he can't go anywhere. And he just clung to that cliff for like 2 hours until spontaneously he just saw these footholds or something, these very tiny footholds, and he just did it. And he
Wow.
said that it wasn't him who climbed that mountain at that particular time. He said it was his guardian angel. He said that his guardian angel just like came out of him and protected him and just showed him how to get up that mountain. I thought that was
Hmm.
pretty awesome.
Metaphor for true self.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that because you're in the moment when you're in that situation.
Hmm.
You're not thinking about the future or the past. You're in the moment,
You're right
and
there.
that's the perfect time for the true self to come out.
The Power of Now.
Exactly.
All right, guys,
Nice.
so go check those books out. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and John Muir. Magnificent Tramp by Rod Miller. It's kind of like a biography on his life.
And we'll actually have links for those books if you want to support the show. You can
Yeah,
go through that link.
we'll link you up.
We'll link you, bruh. All right, so I guess it's about time we bring our guests on.
Yeah, we are going to bring Tara and Lourdes.
She'll introduce herself.
She'll introduce herself, but she's a crystal expert, as I said earlier. And from what I was told, Tara is also a specialist in astrology, and
Awesome.
Lord is also a specialist in Reiki or Reikai
We're going to have to
or
probably ask her what that is.
or Reikai. I don't know. We'll
Reiki.
find out though.
All right, man. I'm ready.
Cool. Let's bring them on. And now joining us from healingcrystals.com are the two crystal experts, Tara and Lourdes.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you today?
All right, we are excellent, and I hope the listeners listening right now are excellent. Could you explain the history behind crystals and maybe kind of explain some of the stuff that you sell at healingcrystals.com?
Yes, well, crystals have been used since the beginning of time. We had the Egyptians who not only used them in burial ceremonies, but they also used them for health. And then, of course, you also find crystals in books like the Bible, like in Aaron's breastplate.
Yep.
So since the beginning of time, man has noticed that there's something special about certain rocks or certain minerals.
If you go back and you look at medical texts, going back to the Egyptians, the Chinese,
Sumerians.
There's a mention of crystals. I mean, what always struck me as really interesting is that the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, he talked a lot about healing with nature. And that's what crystals are all about. I mean, that's healing with nature.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's awesome.
What other kind of religious aspects are behind like healing crystals or just crystals in general?
Well, when you think about it, look at the Pope. The Pope wears, popes, the cardinals are all wearing gemstones.
Yeah.
Now, they could have worn just plain silver, gold, but no, they're wearing gemstones because there are properties associated with them that go back to the beginning of time. A lot of them are very protective. We're talking rubies and garnets, which are extremely protective.
There have been societies where warriors carried lapis lazuli because it was considered that an army that was carrying lapis lazuli had God on their side. They considered that to be, embody God. So there's a lot of history with the use of crystals for different purposes.
And I'm guessing you have that on your website for sale, right?
Yes, we have lapis for sale. We have rubies. We have garnets.
We have everything.
We have quite a few crystals on our website.
I did notice a lot of crystals on that website.
Yeah, there's a lot on there that, I know a couple, but as I was looking more and more into the website, I was like, wow, I don't know any of
Didn't realize
these.
there were that many, huh?
Yeah, I did not.
I guess we can jump right into the healing methods for some of these. Is it different for each crystal, or is there kind of a general healing method?
I don't think that it needs to be different for each crystal. I think it needs to be different for every person. I think it's how you feel comfortable with the crystal. A lot of people will write into us or call us and say, okay, now I've got my crystal. What do I do with it? And for me, just having a crystal around me, I mean, I'm sitting in a room now surrounded by crystals. And when I walked in here today, I felt terrible. And I'm already starting to feel the energy and feeling better. I mean, I think that just having them with you will help you, sitting on a shelf or something like that helps you to feel better. You can place them on your body. You can wear them as jewelry. A lot of people will use them in, healing techniques like with Reiki, that kind of thing.
Laying them on, or the one we use the most is wearing them as jewelry.
Absolutely, yes.
We're always wearing them, whether you're wearing rings, bracelets, anklets, earrings, or carrying them in your pockets. You're carrying that vibration with you throughout the entire day. It's now you're not limited to just your home or your car.
And they're very powerful for healing and for opening up the chakras, which are the energy centers of the body. So, I mean, you can use a different crystal for each chakra, or you can use one crystal. I mean, you could take a basic crystal like a clear quartz, which, everybody has seen, knows what a clear quartz is. That's kind of the powerhouse in a way of crystals, and you could use that for everything.
That will work on all chakras?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So that's a powerful one to have sitting around the house or in the car or in your purse or wherever you're going.
When somebody comes to us and they say, okay, we're interested in crystals, where should we get started? I always talk about kind of the holy trilogy of crystals, which is a clear quartz, a rose quartz, and an amethyst. Those three can do anything, in my opinion.
Wow, the top three.
Yeah, what makes those the best herbs, the best crystals?
No, we're not talking about herbs today. Although you can use crystals with herbs, and they go very nicely together. I don't know if I would how to really explain what it is that makes them. I think it's because they have such a high vibration. All of the quartz really has a high vibration to it. Amethyst is one of my particular favorites. And amethyst, besides it being having a lot of really positive energy that just kind of cleans up any negative energy that's surrounding you or you know, your body, your area. It's also really pretty to look at, and it's also very grounding. And that's the thing. A lot of times when you're not feeling well, it's because your energy is off. You're not, you know, you're not feeling the energy that's surrounding you, so you're not grounded as much as you could be.
And for me, those three, for example, they suit three different needs: your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual. So for smoky quartz would be for the physical, which is related to the base chakra. The rose quartz would be related to the heart chakra, your emotions, and the amethyst for your spirituality. And that's your crown chakra.
Wow, so I should probably just get 3 big old chunks of those and just slap them on my desk, or maybe even just tie them to my back and just walk around with those.
Or you could just carry small tumbled ones in your pocketbook, not your pocketbook, but in your pocket, because what most people don't realize, it's not the size that matters, it's the vibration of the crystal with your energy vibrations.
Some of my most powerful crystals are my smallest ones.
So we always suggest to people, always go with what feels right. For example, on our website, we always tell people, if you've never bought these crystals and don't know what they feel like, you know, take a moment, look at the picture and see what you sense from it. You might feel something from it. You might see colors. Some people even can smell or taste the energy from the crystals.
Wow.
Crystals do communicate with us. You just need to be open to their energy. And I think a lot of the work that we do at Healing Crystals, what we're trying to do is we are trying to open people up to the crystals and also help the crystals have a voice so that they can be more understood by everybody.
I am learning so much right now. This is crazy.
Yeah,
you guys
me
are
too.
full
That's
of
pretty
info
awesome.
about
Never
this
thought
stuff.
about rocks like this, huh?
No, I
No.
haven't. I mean, I've always liked rocks. I'm a guy. I like to go dig in the dirt, and every time I see a cool rock, I like to collect it. And I have a decent collection. I wouldn't say they're crystals, but a lot of them are pretty interesting. So it's nice to learn more about the more rare types.
You know what? I do the same thing. I'll be walking on the street and I'll see just, what looks like an ordinary rock, and I kind of feel its energy, and I'll pick it up and keep it with me.
Well, see, rocks, that's what most people don't understand. Rocks are made of earth and minerals.
Exactly.
And it's not that you need gemstones. People think that you need gemstones for healing. You need minerals. You could use metals and minerals. So it doesn't have to be this beautiful, 10-carat ruby that's been faceted and it's worth $1 million.
Nope.
You can get a piece of rough ruby, which may only cost you, maybe $7 or $8, and it will still have the greatest vibration and have the healing energies that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I actually have a wire wrap necklace that wasn't that expensive to make, and wire wraps are actually pretty easy to make. I am ashamed to say I forgot the name of the crystal, though.
What does it look like?
It's got kind of a yellowish color to it, gold,
Maybe a citrine or a smoky quartz.
Or a calcite?
Or it could be a calcite, yeah.
and it's got some clear in it, too.
Yeah,
it's probably a citrine.
that's what it feels like to me, is maybe a citrine. And citrines are wonderful crystals. They're also part of the quartz family. They're very good for abundance.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There you go.
I was gonna guess citrine also. I'd just like to state that.
So do you guys have a guesstimate on how many crystal types there are?
The problem is you can't guess because they're constantly discovering new
They
ones.
are. They're always finding new ones.
So
yeah.
just think at least 1,000.
I mean, there's different families, and we're not going to name all the families for you because I'll forget them. But there's quartz, and there's feldspar, there's agates, there's jasper.
There are different types. So what you'll find is that certain groups are good for certain things. And for me, for example, we always talk about agates and jaspers, I find are very calming and soothing.
Because they're grounded.
Yes.
Because they carry a lot of earth energy. So when you're feeling all like crazy and like out of it, that earth energy will calm you down.
And a lot of quartzes are also more what I would call spiritual.
Right, because they have a
spiritual
lot
and
of
emotional.
Air and water energy.
So depending on the type of crystal you gravitate towards, you may find that you're always gravitating towards like amethyst. And it could be if you're gravitating towards that you may need spiritual protection. You may need to connect spiritually with a higher vibration. So it really depends on what you find yourself going towards. Now, do you two find yourselves going towards any specific color?
Color. I do like purple, but I'm not, I don't like to have favorites on colors, but I guess I do tend to like purple at times. It is in our logo.
Okay.
I
Well,
were you gonna answer?
no, I was going to ask you about yours too.
Oh, okay. Mine's actually kind of a bluish color, bluish white. I think I was looking on your website not too long ago and saw some of those, but maybe I'm wrong.
What did you see? Maybe a lapis or a sodalite?
Did it have a blue and white or blue, white, and black?
I think it was blue and white, but it's more of a lighter. At least that's what I was looking
Blue lace
for.
agate. Maybe
Yeah.
that was it.
And I do like the
Well-
rough edges. I don't really like the...
Well, okay. All right.
All right. Well, if you're looking at like the purple, there may be that usually people who like purple usually have a tendency to be on a more spiritual path. Usually, that's the first crystal people start with when starting to work with crystal. Amethyst is our number one colored crystal seller. I mean, I can put anything amethyst on the website and I know it's going to sell. Because people gravitate towards it.
Right.
People want more out of life. Now, with any blue colored stones, if it's the deeper blues, those are usually connected with intuition
Communication.
and communication.
Which obviously, you're into communication since you're doing this.
Exactly.
That's
That's
really
awesome.
that's really odd that you said, not odd, but I don't know the word right now, but intuition. That's
There you go.
actually, I've studied
Spooky is the word.
personalities and yeah, I studied personality types, and I actually am more dominant intuitive. So that's pretty crazy that worked out that way.
Well, it's just because you already have that intuitive knowledge or ability. We all do. And you have tapped into it.
Wow, that's
and
crazy.
so that's why you automatically gravitated towards that.
Yeah, it's definitely the first thing I looked for when I went onto your website.
See, we all have that, but we don't tune into it. And I think that's the problem. Many people think I should be getting this crystal instead of going with their gut.
Right.
Their gut will never fail, but many people are so, ingrained or brainwashed into thinking, no, gut isn't good.
Or sometimes we all let our ego take over. So we're conditioned towards, what, I'm going to go online and I'm looking for a pink crystal. And maybe there's a black crystal over there that's calling to you, but you're not, no, I have to get a pink crystal. Somebody told me I have to get a pink crystal. That you're not opening yourself up to the crystals and letting them call to you.
That was actually one of our questions, is how we should go about looking for crystals, and that answered it pretty well. Kind of go with your gut feeling on which crystal it is.
Absolutely.
I like how you bring up the gut feeling, because I read a paper the other day, and they were talking about how inside your gut, like your intestines and your whole digestive system, you actually have neurotransmitters that kind of like affect your hormones and your emotions, and kind of it literally is your gut feeling. And there's also the same kind of thing in your heart. There's neurotransmitters that are in your heart, and they affect certain hormones in your brain and things like that. So it's almost like you have three hearts.
Yes, you have three.
Or three brains. Three brains, I meant.
You have three. You have three nervous systems, three separate ones that all can work together. But a lot of times our bodies are disconnected.
Right.
And that's why you need to a lot of times work on the entire chakra system to connect them. So we find one of our top sellers at healing crystals is our chakra sets.
Right.
Because there in that set, you get a stone for the base chakra, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, so that you're able to unify all three.
I heard that it's better to match the colors. Is that true for chakras?
I mean, that's how we sell, that's how we market our chakra sets, and that's how we suggest that people start working with them. But I think as you become more comfortable, sometimes you'll find that different crystals will work on different chakras.
I see.
Like for instance, a carnelian, which would be for the sacral chakra. There's times I'll feel like I need to put that on my third eye. And I just, because I'm, used to working with crystals, I'll follow my instincts. What we want to help people get away from is that feeling like, oh no, I have to only put it on this chakra. We want people to experiment, to play, to enjoy the crystals and enjoy the energy that goes with them.
Tara's right. You can start out with a chakra set just to start becoming familiar with the energies.
Right.
But once you do, you should experiment. I don't use carnelian in mine.
No.
I use amethyst or I use lapis.
Right.
So it's
Because that's
on the
what
sacral.
works. That everybody is unique, and that's what works for Lourdes. And something different will work for me, and something different will work for you guys.
And what people don't realize is that each chakra has more than one color. There's one color that's predominant, and those are the ones we have the crystals for, but you do have all the other colors in there. So perhaps in that chakra, you already have enough orange, but you need more blue to balance it out.
That's true.
So it's something for people to consider when buying crystals.
Wow, that's a great way to look at it. It kind of makes me think of like tarot cards, because like when people use tarot cards, you look at them and you kind of follow the book, and you kind of do what the book tells you to do. Oh, there's a snake, blah blah blah. Let me look at the book and see what it means. But really, when you look at a tarot card, you're kind of supposed to look at it and be like, well, what do I think it means? You're supposed to kind of ask yourself and intuitively figure out what that means to you. And it's kind of works the same way with crystals.
It does. When you're working with tarot cards, they're telling you a story, and the crystals can tell you a story as well.
Or just like dream interpretation.
Oh,
they're all the
absolutely.
same way. The whole goal is to use your intuition. When people can't, we have people who tell us, I can't sense my intuition. I don't know what to do. Then for that, then you pick a goal. What do you want the crystals to help you with? So I know Tara and I discussed this in one of our videos, that you use a goal. So if it's abundance you're looking for, typical crystals for abundance could be jade, could be the emerald, could be citrine, the clear quartz, the pyrite. Those are the typical ones. But some other people may find that, if they're having energetic blockages in the heart, they need first like the rose quartz to help overcome that before they can get the abundance.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
I really liked how you mentioned however you're feeling, you just kind of grab a crystal and place it on your third eye. It seems like it's kind of teaching you how to live in the present moment, how to make decisions instead of thinking or overthinking about those decisions. So I really liked how you brought that up, because it's kind of like a present moment zen. You have an idea, you do it.
I think that, as you mentioned, like when you're working with oracle cards, you start off with using the guide, and crystals are a lot like that too. You start off by reading the information, reading books. One of the things I love about our website is we're not just selling you crystals. There's a ton of free information on there. We want you to buy our crystals, but even if you don't buy our crystals, you can go on there. You can see pictures of the crystals. You can learn about their different uses. We have, I don't even know how many articles. It's ridiculous. We have over 100 videos, all that are designed to help people learn and become more comfortable with crystals, so that they can have a reference and become more comfortable, so that they can follow their instinct and listen to the crystals.
One of our best resources, which is in our homepage, in the left menu, is the beginner's reference guide.
There's so much information.
We have so much information there because our website is so huge.
Yeah.
Just that one page, that one link will take you to everything a beginner needs to know about. Anything from grids to cleaning crystals
Even if you're
to
not
astrology.
a beginner, I go there all the time, and I work with crystals on a daily basis. A lot of times I'll go there to look up information or just to remind myself of something. It's very, very helpful.
Yeah, I was on your website a little bit before Valentine's Day. I got my girlfriend, I got like a heart chocolate box, and I took the chocolates out and filled it with crystals.
Oh,
That's so nice.
Yeah, I try.
What a sweetheart.
that's wonderful.
You're a good boyfriend.
I must say, though, I did get the idea off the internet. But
That's okay. Hey,
That's
you
all right.
did it. That was
I did it.
That's there.
But I noticed when I was trying to decide which ones to get that while I was looking through them, I was able to learn a lot about the crystals on the website because of all the different information. I mean, you have stuff about the chakras it connects to, its uses, how to clean them. You know, it was really educational. I mean, even if you're not ready to buy crystals or you don't have the funds to buy crystals, you can still go on your website and learn a lot about crystals. So I think that's really cool that you have that option. It's not just a market, but you're also trying to teach people things.
Absolutely. And we have a very active Facebook page that is constantly, and I do mean constantly, like what, every 15 minutes we're updating that with more information.
Let's put it this way. We post something new every hour, but usually there's one of us on there trying to be on there every hour, trying to answer people and give information. You know, we have a Tumblr page where we do the same thing, a Google Plus page. We have a Twitter account. We have an Instagram account. We're always trying to give people more information. And the one thing that people don't realize, if you don't have the funds for crystal, you don't have to go and buy one. You can look at the picture and ask that the energy of that crystal come to you, and it will.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
That's what I do at work is I have pictures on my desk of crystals. I don't have, well, I do have a couple of actual crystals, but I do like, for instance, I have a picture of a green, I think a green quartz that's under my printer facing towards the door of my office to bring in prosperity.
And we also sell decks of cards. So let's say if you only have $5, you can get a deck of cards
with 31 different crystals.
No, more, over 50.
In the one deck?
Yes, over 50.
That's why I have so many cards.
That's why you have so many cards. Over 50 cards in each deck. And so you have all those crystals available to you. And one thing Tara has done a lot on our Facebook page is she shows people how to use those cards, whether it's for grids, for luck, for abundance, for anything like that. So you're always learning the multiple uses of them, let alone the videos that we have on how to use them.
What is the name for your Facebook page so people can find it?
It's under Healing Crystals, and there's a mandala. It's also called Crystal Talk.
Okay.
And it's the one, usually there's mandala, and we're located in Virginia.
Okay. And what is the Twitter handle?
And the Twitter handle, I have to, if you can hold up 1 minute, because there's so many of these accounts, I am at the point where I don't remember all of them.
I don't remember the Twitter one either, and I'm always posted on there too, and I can't remember what it is.
I believe the Twitter is @Crystal Talk.
Oh, that's probably, because we're Crystal Talk.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
You know, it's come to the point where we realize when Tara comes to my house that between our energies and that of the crystals, if we remember our names by the end of our visit, we're lucky.
We get giddy. We do.
and we see that in our videos. People wonder, we get so giddy because we're surrounded by so many crystals.
It's true.
That's great. You're bringing a lot of energy.
It is in a way.
It's nice to talk to people about things that they love and things that they're passionate about because you learn a lot from them. So we really do enjoy this conversation. I want to ask, what's the science behind like how crystals are formed? Like over time, volcanoes, what is, like, how are they formed, basically?
Well, I mean, if you want to, like, you could go online and Google this or whatever. I mean, basically, actual crystallization comes from, and I'm not a scientist, so if there's any scientists listening, please don't write in or say, oh my God, she so got it wrong. But from what I understand of crystallization, it's a matter of liquids and gases forming, and it's the heat of the earth that has them grow out of the earth. Does that sound right?
The grow or the pressure?
The pressure, the heat,
and the combination of the different elements.
Right.
So, for example, if you have manganese may give you a pink color in the crystal.
Otherwise known as pink calcite.
Yeah, or you could have copper, and copper is the one that gives, azurite its blue color or malachite its green. So depending what chemicals and what's
in the ground. I mean, every location has different energy, different chemicals, different atoms. and whatever's there grows. Like, for instance, clear quartz grows in Arkansas, but I don't think calcite grows in Arkansas.
No, not
Because it's different. It's got different elements.
Yeah, and some of
And
the crystals are not so much grown as formed. Because
grown,
quartz,
right.
we have quartz, like
just
Sarah
almost
was
said
saying.
grown.
Yeah, no, because it feels like they grow.
Yeah.
But you also have, so for example, you can get garnets in Pennsylvania that look different than the garnets in Colorado.
Right. Absolutely.
Because you
It's a
may have
different
one may be
location.
more pinker, one may be pinker, one may
Yep.
be more red. Or if you look at the amazonite from Colorado, it looks different than the amazonite from Russia.
Right.
So depending on the level of the minerals in it, the chemical composition, it will change a little.
Right. And they're carrying the different energies and that kind of thing. And that's how they react with us.
Yes.
Because everything is energy. We're comprised of energy. They're comprised of energy. And our energies are working together to help
Yes.
heal us. And I think besides the scientific fact, you've got to have some faith. You have to believe that the crystal is going to help you or it's not. And I think that's true of anything. If I take an aspirin, if I don't believe it's going to get rid of my headache, then it's not going to.
Intention is the key.
Yep.
Intention. That's
gotta
pretty
have faith.
so that's like
You
the
gotta have-
full science behind the crystals. From what I've read and from what you've explained, is a lot of it that because crystals are like energy, it's really hard to prove how energy really affects us. Because like if you look at a fish in a water, they don't understand that they're in water. A fish can't prove that it's magnetic signals that it's putting out and its frequency in the water that it's putting out is what's allowing a whale 1,000 miles away to talk to it. You can't really because we're in the energy, we're surrounded by this energy, so it's really hard to figure it out and study it. You can't study something you're inside of.
No, and because we're all so different and have such sensitivity, different sensitivity levels, I may be sensitive to one stone, somebody else may be sensitive to another. So somebody is going to say, well, you can't, how can that be? And that's why this is not proven science.
Moldavite's a perfect example. Lourdes loves moldavite. She could have big pieces of it, no problem. I cannot be in the same room with moldavite. I have one tiny little piece because if I'm near it for too long, I start to feel dizzy. I feel like I'm going to just fall right over because that's my reaction to that particular energy in that particular crystal.
And there is some scientific basis to them because if you realize, you have quartz in watches, you have sapphires in computers. So they do have some charges that can be measured, but there hasn't been enough studies really on the human body to be able to say, yes, without a doubt, this is what's happening.
Right.
In thousands of years from now, what kind of crystals do you think will be produced by plastic and styrofoam and all the litter in the ground? Do you think they're gonna, pressurize into some kind of crazy crystal?
Well, you know what? It depends on what the plastic is actually combined with.
Yeah, it depends on whether it's natural or
if the plastic is, I don't think, and this is my personal belief, that plastic will deteriorate enough to be able to form a crystal.
I would have to agree with that. I don't think so either.
Yeah, no, they're finding new crystals, but these are all natural.
Exactly.
Now, there are such things that we have simulated crystals, we have synthetic crystals.
Lab treated,
right.
treated.
Synthetic crystals have the same chemical composition. So yes, those synthetic crystals will have some of the vibrational attributes that natural crystals do. Simulated crystals will not. And people are not realizing that there's a difference. They may have the color.
But to be fair, a simulated crystal will have its own energy.
Yes.
It's just not going to be the same energy.
Exactly.
I mean, if in other words, if you buy a simulated sapphire, it's going to have energy, and that energy may work for you. You may love that energy, and it may be just what you need, but it's not going to be the same energy as a natural grown sapphire would be.
Exactly. And then you have heat treated crystals. And heat-treated crystals, what happens is man just speeds up nature's process.
Right. Typically when they heat treat, they're trying to change the color.
Exactly. Whether it's making it darker or bringing out different facets. Then you have the treatments that are bonded. For example, the aqua auras, where gold is bonded to a clear quartz, and that changed the vibration entirely. And it's a wonderful vibration.
Blue goldstone is a wonderful example of a man-made crystal. And you know, there's a lot of people that won't go near man-made crystals. They feel that they just don't have the right energy. But I love blue goldstone. I think it's a wonderful crystal, you know, and I think it has a lot of benefits for everyone.
So it really depends on your sensitivity level.
Exactly.
And some people, it's even glass because it's colored, because they can sense the color vibration.
Yeah.
So everybody will be able to find something. It's just not that everything won't work for everyone.
Right.
You gotta have a little intuition and a little bit of faith.
There you go.
And intention.
That's what you need. Yep.
Go ahead, Steve. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just sitting back and absorbing all of this.
Absorbing the positive energy.
Yeah, exactly. So before I accidentally said herbs, but you did say that crystals can be connected or combined with herbs. What kind of suggestions or methods would you recommend?
Well, we sell candles, and what in fact, Tara and I did a video on this, on using crystals with herbs. So, for example, our lavender essential oil works very well with, you know, crystals like amethyst or lepidolite for very calming energies. For abundance, I like eucalyptus.
I like cinnamon.
You like cinnamon.
For abundance.
For abundance. So, you know, for cinnamon, you may pick something, an orangey type stone.
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. See, and this is how it shows what works for us differently. For me, eucalyptus works well, or basil. And so I like the green stones. So I may go for the jade or the malachite. So it depends on what your actual goal could be.
And it can be as simple as you've got a bowl and you put a little basil in it and you put a crystal in it and you wave your hand over it and say, you know what, I expect that this is going to bring abundance into my home. Thank you. And you're done.
Or I use rose petals a lot. And I put rose quartz on rose petals. Or I take, you know, a drop of essential oil and dilute it in water and spray it. And my intention is to fill my home with love.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome.
Pretty awesome. Don't copy me. What books could you recommend for anyone listening if they want to learn a bit more about crystals? Like, what books or authors would you recommend?
I like Judy Hall. Yeah, I like books we don't sell.
Oh, okay,
we're going to mention books we sell and that we don't
sell.
I
want to make sure I'm not mentioning, because my personal favorite is a book called, I think it's The Illustrated Directory to Healing Crystals
by Cassandra Eason. Yes, I like that book.
I recommend that to everybody who's starting with crystals. I think that's the most fabulous book. She's got beautiful pictures and very nice, easy to understand explanations.
And I like, besides that one, which is so funny because I fell in love with that book when I saw it.
I have 2 copies of that. I love that book so much.
Really?
Yes, I love that book.
I like the Encyclopedia of Crystals by Judy Hall. She's one of my favorites. But I also like the Book of Stones. The Book of Stones has tremendous information.
There's a lot of information, but those are, and those are very, there's like you said, a lot of information there. So those are larger books.
And once you get into those, then if you really want to get into very specific crystals, there is Melody's Love is in the Earth.
If you can find it.
Well, yeah, if you can find it.
That's out of print.
It's a little bit pricier,
right?
But that one is like an encyclopedia.
That's kind of like the Bible for crystal lovers. Yeah.
But the other ones are
out of print, so it's
I didn't realize it was out of print.
No, yeah, you can't. Yeah, go on Amazon. That's out of print. I think.
That's why it's so expensive on
Amazon. It's out of print.
You got to start reprinting that or something.
Yeah, really, you know.
I didn't realize that.
And then also Philip, we have some of
Philip Permut's books, and they're very good on chakra work and crystals.
Yes, that we have on our website. An author, Philip Permut, he writes very nice books about crystals.
Yes.
Well,
and then also we should mention, you know what, besides books, crystal cards are a wonderful way to learn. If you know, some people don't have the patience. I almost never finish a book. I use them for reference. But, you know, if you want just something quick, you know, our crystal cards, they give you a picture of the crystal. They give you some information about it, give you wonderful affirmations on the back to use to set your intention. And they're very, inexpensive and just a really nice place to start working with crystals.
And we already have 3 decks on them,
Yeah.
and we have 3 more planned.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. That's very good. I understand Tara is a specialist in astrology.
I am.
Yes.
How does astrology tie into crystals, or does it?
Oh, it does, absolutely. I mean, on our website, and on Facebook, you'll see we do weekly and daily horoscopes. And basically, what I try to do is talk about the energies of the day, and then explain what crystals are going to help you to use those energies and to manage those energies and to make them work for you. Because I mean, what's going on in the planets, there's nothing we can do about it. Take for instance, when Mercury's retrograde, everybody goes into a panic. Oh my God, Mercury's retrograde. What are we going to do? It happens 4 times a year. I mean, you really you need to learn how to live with it and manage it and understand the purpose. So, for instance, I might say, carry a blue lace agate with you to keep you calm. So when you're stuck in traffic, when your computer crashes, when your iPod won't work, which is what happened to me last time, every song on my iPod just disappeared during Mercury retrograde. Instead of having a fit, I took my blue lace agate. I said, just be calm. And as soon as the energy changed, I got all my songs back again. It was
good.
fine. Yes, it all came back. So, I think that's how crystals work with astrology. Astrology is another tool that we have to make our lives better, to make our existence here on Earth, more meaningful and to help us. And crystals correspond and coincide with that.
Wow, that's great. That's great to know. And I also understand that Lourdes, you specialize with Reiki?
Reiki.
Reiki, yeah, that's the one. Could you explain exactly what that is and how it's practiced?
Yes, Reiki is actually an energy vibration, and the word Reiki actually means universal energy. And what that does is it helps balance your energies so that your body can actually go into its own natural healing process.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually releases stress. And once you release stress, your body can help heal itself.
Wow, that's great. That's great to know. Because it's
Yes, so it's wonderful with it because what crystals do is they enhance the energy. And they help speed up the process.
Mm-hmm.
And if your body is constantly, stressed about, internal thoughts, fear and trust issues and things like that, and being afraid, it's harder for your body to focus on physical problems inside your body, like, ailments and things of that nature.
Well, that's where a lot of those ailments come. Like you mentioned, fear. That comes from your solar plexus, and that's why a lot of people have stomach issues.
Or people who are having challenges with their jobs will have a lot of lower back pain.
Yes.
So,
because that's part of your root chakra, your ability to take care of
It's
yourself
survival.
and your family. Yeah.
So if you can relax your body enough,
Mm-hmm.
then you won't have those issues.
Exactly.
I agree with that. Stress usually makes me have neck pain, and then that turns into a headache.
And that's why Reiki is wonderful. Reiki helps release that. It can help release energy in the body that's blocked that may be contributing to pain.
That's pretty awesome.
I'm going to have to look into that some more.
Yeah.
When those headaches are happening, try an amethyst or maybe a black obsidian, something like that, because it's probably, if it's starting in your neck, it's probably because you feel out of control over something. And those kinds of crystals can help to ease the stress of that. And then, because I suffer from headaches, and I use amethyst all the time for that.
Nice. I'm going to have to check that out. It's a good tip. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are, when you go looking for crystals or you go to a crystal mine, what are some other things that you may or may not find, such as like fossils, artifacts? Do things of that nature ever get found in crystal mines?
It depends on where you're mining for crystals. For example, here we're in Jersey. And in Jersey, there are places you can find, rocks, and you'll find fossils. Mm-hmm. But like, for example, in the Franklin area of New Jersey and Ogdensburg, the Sterling mines and the Franklin mines,
Right.
you're going to find crystals there that are not found in most places in the world because they're fluorescent.
Right.
So it depends where you're going. I went to a mine in Virginia where they had a lot of amazonite.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not think of it there, but that's where they have it. So it really depends where you're going. In New York, the Herkimers.
Yes, the Herkimers, right.
Herkimer diamonds in New York.
There's some place that has an apatite mine.
I want to go.
I know. I think it's in Montana.
And I think
I was
emeralds in
reading
North
about it.
Carolina.
Emeralds in North Carolina's got all kinds of stuff.
Yes, Arizona, Arkansas has quartz. So it really depends where you're going. But in New Jersey, I really recommend to people the Franklin and Sterling mines because you will find fluorescent minerals that are amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like 100 varieties that are not found anywhere else on this planet.
To work along with your crystals, if you like to go to the beach, you can use seashells. We
Yes.
do that a lot. We always have and like those sea. I always call them sea rocks.
Sea glass.
Sea glass if you can find it. But like those stones you find
Yes,
on the beach.
the pebbles.
Yeah,
Or,
that
yes.
kind of stuff. Those all carry wonderful energy too.
And I make grids with
Yep.
seashells and crystals because
Absolutely.
seashells have energies just like crystals do.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome to know because I'm actually in New Jersey. So, and me and my girlfriend were actually looking for some crystal mines that we could like go to and visit. And I saw that fluorite was a very common one in New Jersey. I think they're a bit further up north in Jersey.
I think it's a little bit of a ride. We're in northern New Jersey. What does it take? Like an hour, maybe?
It's
2
an hour
hours?
for us in northern New Jersey,
Yeah.
but New Jersey is also known for prehnite,
Yeah.
which is in the Patterson area. There's a lot of it.
There is.
So in northern Jersey there is a lot, but there's a lot of fossils in South Jersey.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I'm gonna have to start doing some more exploration. If I were to go on a hike, or a listener were to go on a hike, how could they go about searching for crystals? Like, if you wanted to just start, keeping maybe just looking at the ground, or is there signs that there's a crystal nearby that you should look for? Like, I don't know, water or something.
Well, for me, whenever you're outdoors in nature and if you're connecting with it, if you're meant to find it, you're going to find it.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you're going walking and all of a sudden a rock catches your eye, whether you're on a city street or on a trail, pick it up.
Pick it up.
Because that rock can have a mineral in it that can help benefit you.
That's good to know. I actually do that all the time. Whenever I go on a hike, I look down and I might find, I might pass 5 million rocks, and I'll look down at this one. And I'll say, that's the one. And I'll pick it up and I'll put it in my pocket, and it's sitting on the desk right next to me still.
Well, that's your intuition. That's excellent.
Wow, that's pretty cool to know.
I actually might get a crystal. I used to use a gratitude rock. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically if you have just a rock inside of your pocket, every time you pull it out or touch it, you have to think of things that you're grateful for.
Yes.
So it might be cool to actually get like a crystal that I could use, like a smaller one, to put in my pocket as a gratitude rock.
You could. Clear quartz is great because it could handle the intention of whatever your goal is. So if you want to make it your gratitude rock, it'll accept it.
You said clear quartz?
Clear quartz,
clear
yes.
quartz.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
great.
we're probably getting close to running out of time, or may have gone over.
Well, one thing I want to mention is for all of your listeners, we have a 10% discount code. It's called HC Mind Movers, all capitals, all together. And I will email it to you so you can put it on. They will get 10% discount upon checkout by using that code.
Oh,
Anything on
wow.
our site.
Awesome. That's really
Yes,
great.
and it's anything on, Tara's right, anything on our site. We don't have things that we don't put on sale. Everything is available.
Right.
And please, if people have questions, they can use the contact us link under our quick links section.
Right.
And we'll be more than happy to answer questions.
Absolutely. Yes.
We have people doing it every single night. People go in and answer questions.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because you
That's
can
good to know.
you can spend hours looking for things on that site. There's so much.
We do.
We work there. We spend hours on there.
And we're always finding new things because as things get put on there, we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't know we had this, because things come in, but we have so much coming in that sometimes, we become flooded with new items and we can't get them on fast enough.
Right.
So,
Wow.
and people can ask if there's something they're looking for and you don't see it, please ask us, because a lot of times, if you do a search, you may get 1,000 things and may not be able to find that one thing, but we can find it for you.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yes. Or if there's a problem they're looking for a specific crystal for, they can, write in and we will be more than happy to suggest. Or they can do that through any of our social media, whether it's, the Facebook page,
or
Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, anything.
Yeah, I do see you guys posting questions on your Twitter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I think they're answered as well.
Yes, and we have, crystal experts, and our experts all have different fields of knowledge and expertise, which is what makes us so unique, that if one of us doesn't know, there's always somebody who does.
Nice. Very
That's
helpful.
great. I wanted to ask you one more question before you guys left. When we set up this date to talk on the podcast, which was about 3 weeks ago, I believe Lourdes said that Tara would be over her house because of the rain. And here it is, 3 weeks later, pouring rain.
See how intuitive we are?
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird because I just realized that because
Yes, well, the crystals do have a way of speaking and increasing our intuition.
But please don't write us and ask us for weather prediction, because we don't,
Who
Although
knows?
we can feel it, we can't guarantee it.
You ladies brought a lot of passion into the podcast, and it was great. I had a really good time, and I learned a lot as well. So I do appreciate you folks coming on.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate being asked.
We had a great time too.
yeah,
Definitely
this has
gonna
been,
have to
great.
Definitely gonna have to set up something again, I think. Maybe going
Absolutely.
in more depth in some of these crystals.
Yes, and probably in better weather for both of us.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe talk about more into the chakras, astrology connections, and maybe even the Reiki.
Yes,
the future.
numerology, the astrology. There's so much that
Yeah.
crystals can work with.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely do this again, and we appreciate having you on. Thank you so much.
Once again.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks,
It
you
was
as
nice
well.
talking to you. Have a good night.
Okay, thanks.
You
Bye-bye.
guys be safe in the floods.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
A lot of passion and love and just I just want to kiss something right now. Closest thing to me.
Oh man, there's a lot of passion, a lot of energy in that podcast. I came into this one like, okay, let's talk about crystals. This is just another topic, and wow, that was just insane. How
We
much
touched on a
knowledge they
lot of
dropped.
good stuff there.
Like, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to bring them back on and go more in depth, and maybe ask some of the listeners for some questions to ask them. There was just two. I'm gonna have to listen to this one a couple times because they dropped a lot of terms and a lot of different crystals within that podcast. So definitely a lot of knowledge. You can tell that they have studied their crystals.
Yeah, they definitely know what they're talking about. And I find it's really hard to learn as you're speaking to them sometimes, like because we're doing the podcast and we're kind of focusing on, keeping it going and stuff.
And questions, yeah.
You learn a little bit, but once I re-listen to it one more time and kind of hear them talking about it once more, I'm going to learn so much more. So I'm pretty excited to go back and listen to this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I have to pay attention to everything. I have to pay attention to the recording and make sure everything's running okay, and then think of questions and responses. But they had me pretty silent most of that podcast, just trying to absorb as much as I can from them. And they did bring in a lot of energy. I could feel it. They were very passionate about what they were talking about, which also helps with a podcast. And I feel like we did come up with some pretty great questions. Give ourselves a pat on the back right there.
Right.
But yeah, I hopefully people find a lot of value in this podcast. I'm sure they will. I was blown away by how much we learned.
I think it's crazy that the energy and the vibrations and the positivity that they were putting out just by talking through Skype has somehow just like manifested into myself, or maybe manifested out of myself.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how someone or people with a positive vibration coming from them it kind of puts you in a better mood. I mean, it kind of sets the tone for everyone around you. So it's kind of important to be that positive vibration, radiating out and encouraging other people to be more positive. They definitely wowed me for sure, like you said. Very big wow.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I just love talking to people about what they love. I love listening rather to people talk about what they love, or even just watching people do what they love. It's one of the most enjoyable things ever.
It really is, and you can learn a lot from observing that. So it's really good that you brought that up. And
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome that they gave us the discount code, the 10% discount code. It's a capital H as in Henry, C as in Charlie, Mind Movers. So that's pretty awesome. People can use that and get a 10% discount. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, and that's healingcrystals.com. Just type that in the search or type it in the address bar. If you type it in the search on like Google, it'll most likely be the first link to come up. Or even if you just type crystals on Google, they're like one of the first links to come up. So they're easy to find.
Yeah, I did notice that. I mean, I guess we didn't really get a whole lot of science behind using crystals like we were going to try to, but I kind of agree with what they said, and I kind of believe what they said. There's so much energy around us that we don't understand. And to say that crystals don't have, energy that reacts with our energy, I think is kind of ignorant to say. So I say I agree with them, and I've been wearing this crystal for a while. And, honestly, I could probably say I started wearing this crystal a little bit before the podcast started. So who knows? Maybe it is bringing some positive energy into my life.
A fish doesn't know it's wet the same way we don't know that we are surrounded by energy and that we're connected to this energy and affected by it at all times.
Science called the energy that you're talking about, which is 96%, they called it empty space. And they just now realize that it's not empty space. It's dark matter and dark energy. That's just what they call it for now. Who knows? We could take those percentages of dark matter and dark energy and break them up into... We could break that down into many different categories of energies. So, to say that crystals aren't doing anything, I don't think you can say that. So... maybe that is all the science you really need behind that.
I know you know.
I know you know. That was awesome. I hope the listeners enjoyed it. I'm sure they will. I kind of feel like people, at least the community that we have around us on Twitter, they're going to eat this up. It's so much information. It's so good. It's something that I'm probably going to listen to multiple times.
Yeah, and I learned a lot as well, and I hope we'll have him back on again sometime in the near future, maybe a couple months or something.
Yeah, definitely going to have to set that one back up.
Yep.
I guess we'll wrap it up.
That's about it.
Make sure you use hashtag MindMoversPodcast when tweeting about this specific podcast or any of our other podcasts, or if you just want to ask us a question. We do a really good job of looking up the hashtag, and you guys have been doing a really great job of tweeting that hashtag. We're approaching 10K tweets in 30 days. That's pretty insane.
We're also approaching 20,000 downloads total since we transferred to our new host. So that's also pretty awesome.
That's
Thank you
just
guys. We
mind-blowing.
really appreciate the support.
Yeah, and it's crazy. People are listening to them multiple times. How many people can say that their podcasts are listened to multiple times? I don't hear that too often. I hear of people listening to it once, but there's people that listen to our episodes twice, 3 times, 4 times.
There's only one other podcast that I've listened to multiple times, and that is Duncan Trussell's. He has a few episodes where I've listened to them.
Yeah.
at least 2 times just because there's so much inspiration in them. So it's pretty cool that people are listening to ours multiple times.
Yeah, and we'll keep pumping them out, and I'm sure they'll keep listening, and we appreciate that very much. So we can probably end this one now.
Yeah, that's
My
about
name's
it.
Steven, and you can find me at youth_thinking.
And I'm Brando. You can find me on Twitter at mind_of_peace. Later, bitches. 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 Later, bitches.